I now have the absolute pleasure of introducing Dr. Matthew Offord, a prominent Conservative MP for Hendon, host of the Free Iran rally and a really good friend of the Iranian resistance, who will begin by saying a few words and also introduce our other speakers of the day. Please give a really warm welcome to Dr. Matthew Offord.
Wow, what a great honor it is to stand with you here today in one of the greatest cities of the world, London. And it was a great honor for me to recently lead a British delegation to the Free Iran gathering at Camp Ashraf, number 3 in Albania. It was a great opportunity to discuss with many people within the camp their experiences of the regime, of the horror that they experienced, the torture, but most of all, their hopes for the future. But we saw, as many of us already know in Parliament, that there is great support for the NCRI and Madam Rajavi, and particularly for her 12-point plan for an alternative regime in Tehran. But we saw support from elected representatives from the United States, Canada, Europe, and many Arab countries. And the consensus was that the interests of the world are converging together, and those interests certainly are not shared by the regime in Iran. We were convinced during our visit that Madam Rajavi represents an opposition to the regime. She represents an opportunity to provide a less theocratic dictatorship. Actually, she wants to respect the rights of the people in Iran, to seek peace and good neighborly relations in the region, and most of all, to reduce the nuclear capability of the country. But recent events in the Persian Gulf have demonstrated to all of us that Iran has been engaging in state-sponsored piracy. And many of us have complained for a long time that decoupling the issue of human rights from the Iranian nuclear deal was a great mistake, and I feel vindicated now after recent events. So I believe today our response should be firm, but it should be held upon a principle that the IRGC and the regime in Tehran should be held to account for its atrocities. And the way we can do this, I believe, is to send a message to our new Prime Minister to say that these organisations should be proscribed in their entirety under the Terrorism Act. But secondly, I feel that we should now be bold, and we should say that we want to see a regime change in Tehran, a regime change through the democratic process, a regime change led by Madam Rajavi, a regime change that brings forward her 10-point plan to achieve a better Iran and a better world order. Most of all, we should recognise that the greatest asset for us is the bond of friendship between the people of Iran, the NCRI, and the rest of the world. And we can use that asset to overcome the horrendous atrocities that have been occurring in the country. We see many brave people in the country saying they are ready to seek change. They are ready to stand up and be counted. And they are ready to see a free Iran. So to them today, those who are listening around the world, in Iran and here in Trafalgar Square, we say one thing: Huzzah! 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 Now, I know many of you did not come here to hear me, but you did, of course, come to hear someone that so many of you know. Someone who has shown there is an alternative to the regime of the mullahs. Someone who shows that there is an alternative to a nuclear Iran. Someone who shows that there's an opportunity for Iran to be the once great nation it always was. And that is Madam Rajavi, NCRI elect, who we shall now hear a few words from.